Okay, we have fully dried this texture, as you can see kind of in the light there, what it looks like. So it's dried clear, and what I've mixed up is just a little bit of a cadmium orange and a little gold metallic. I'm going to mix these up together. Just want a little pop of color on my brush. So you can see it's a real pretty sort of corally shimmer color. And I'm going to lay this down. Washing this over this texture to pick up as much as possible, but not too much. I just want a light layer of this to come through underneath. Pulling it down, pick up just a little more. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel. It's dry. I'm going to work that in to that background layer, just like that. So I'm going to have some of the strokes of the brushes, some of it's going to be diffused. Then I'm going to take a little bit of water on my paper towel, go over a couple areas where I want to kind of break it up just a little. A little more water. I'm breaking up any obvious lines. I really want that texture highlighted without it looking too strong. I want it kind of subtle. And I want that shimmer in the background. Okay, so that's pretty much where I want to be. And we've worked very, very light, so we can go ahead and we can apply something on top. That's going to give us that look. Working up here on the top, you can take a little more if you like and lay it around the edges of that texture. And I'm just going to put a little bit up here. Tying it all in. Using what I already had on my palette, just a very light coat around the edges. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the blue that I had mixed up for the bottom layer. I'm just going to grab my brush, pick up some of that. I don't have too much left right there. It's been sitting for a few days, so just a little bit is left on my brush. And I am going to move in the same way that I just did that last layer. Essentially, I'll put a little water on my canvas, and I'm going to move some of that blue onto the top of that last layer. I'm working very light. I'm not depositing a lot of paint. Bringing it right down into that last layer of gold. As you can see, that's sort of the effect that we've gotten from doing that. I'm going to go ahead and put some water up here, lay down anything left from my brush. And this is a good way to layer colors and have all the same colors tie in on your painting, but get multiple layers. Is, you know, mix that color up, your base color, like I did in the beginning, and then you can refer back to it and mix in more metallic. You can mix in, you can layer it again on top of other colors that you lay down, which is going to give you that multiple layered effect, and it's still all going to tie in with the same tones and colors. And instead of you going back and trying to remix something, you may or may not get the same ratio right. You may or may not have picked up the same blue. You know, you have to be careful. If it's several days later, you may not exactly remember which blue that you used, if you have several, which has happened to me before. So, you know, just mix up what you think you're going to need and a little extra, and, you know, put it in a resealable container. And if you don't end up using it on this painting or the current work of art, then you can always use it on a different one. You can add some other colors to it to create a whole completely new tone. All right, so that's giving us a very pretty layered type of effect here without being that obvious, you know, straight line, and giving us a pretty look of multiple layers. I'm just filling in some spots with some of that blue around the edge of my canvas that might have kind of got left a little raw. You can fill in a little more paint in a couple spots, bring that sort of cascade look down into that gold a little more, just working very lightly. I hardly have anything on my brush, just a little blue, a little water. Be sure you don't put too much water on your brush when you're working like this, because water will eat through acrylics, and anything that you've lifted, or I mean that you've put down, if you put a lot of water on top of it, it's going to lift it. So you want to really work with very light bits of color, light bits of water. If you do find that you need to add a little water, do so on a paper towel, and do not mist your canvas. You can always just kind of lightly go over an area that needs a little more diffusion or blending with just a light hand and some paper towel. I would use paper towel over sponge. Sponge can grab too much water. Paper towel will allow you to just put down a little bit. All right, so we have a very pretty area around the sides here. We have a very pretty area in the center here with multiple layers of color and shimmer, as you can see. So I'm going to let this dry thoroughly. Going to finish the sides, and I believe I'm going to do these in a black because I think just the white would not quite look right. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little blue of the blue I have left. I'm going to put in a little bit of black, kind of give it a blue-black look. It'll have just a hint of shimmer from that metallic, and finish my sides off. Let it dry thoroughly, 24 hours, and then I'm going to put my final glaze and then varnish on this. Mixing a little cadmium orange and gold to give highlight. laying down very softly just to pick up a little bit of texture. And highlight with a little pop of that coral